Hey Ratbags, it's Jade back again with another Oblivion Leaks video. I know I'm now milking it. This is effectively my third video in a month. But we'll generally have some talking points and another confirmed rumour leak that it's absolutely happening from one of the most established leakers in the business. But maybe a little bit more concerning for fans that do believe there might not be any mod support at launch. Alright, the 30-second rundown for people that don't have a clue. This is brand new news to them that Oblivion might be remade. It all kicked off a few months ago with Nate the Hate stating that a Elder Scrolls remake would drop in June. He then changed that to April a few weeks ago or so, and he's been pretty consistent in saying that it would drop in the second half of April. This guy's got a solid reputation for predicting and leaking stuff that happens, a lot of it also evolving around Nintendo Directs and stuff. Then we had this guy, Detective Seeds, relatively new to the leaking scene, does lots of other types of content on his YouTube channel, and apparently has good connections at Sony. He did maybe go a little bit gung-ho in stating that the game might actually release on the 3rd of April. Now he did also stress it might be the week later, which of course is this week. But he held his hand up and said he got it wrong. Actually, it's likely to drop the week of the 21st after the ESO anniversary event ends. And finishes it off by saying the project is 100% real though for those doubting it. So I thought ESO was celebrating 10 years, no, 11. Big shout out to the know-it-all that corrected me last time, you're the GOAT. But they do still have an anniversary event, it finishes on the 21st, so in my logic, what better way are you going to announce a remake than at least at some sort of event tied to it? I know people wanted to see it maybe in March at the anniversary of Oblivion actually being out. But remember, this wasn't meant to come out to June, and now they've maybe switched, and it's still my hypothesis it's because of the Nintendo Switch. They may be different platforms, they may have nothing really to do with each other, etc. But let's face it, the Switch 2 is going to take up a lot of PR space. News reports, guides, everyone is going to be jumping on that. I've heard from my own various sources that game developers are avoiding June, just like they were trying to work out when GTA 6 will arrive, because they don't want to compete either with the Switch 2 launch or GTA 6. Even games not in the same genre really realise that just a lot of the news with and basically talk about this stuff will pretty much shadow anything they've got going on. So, 21st, the week of the 21st, that tallies up with Nate the Hate, and that's where we were at. Okay, that took more than 30 seconds, but you got the idea. Now enter a new contender, Jeff Grubb, one of the most well-known leakers in the business, has worked in games media a number of years and pretty much has predicted a bunch of stuff, particularly to do with Starfield being an Xbox and PC launch exclusive, Metroid Prime and more.
All right, let's get into some of this other news. Oblivion is very likely going to shadow drop here pretty soon. It's supposed to come out, I mean, according to some other rumors I've heard, is like April, and it's April. It's April right now, Emma. That's the crazy thing. And it's like, okay, well, when are they going to announce this? Well, I've been told it's going to shadow drop here at any moment this month. So
okay, I thought you were going to be like at any moment today.
Who knows? I don't know that. I just know it's going to shadow drop here pretty soon. What does that look like to you? Like, this feels like a big game. It should be, you know, they're remaking Oblivion, one of the Xbox 360's best games, one of my favorites of all time. Feels like they could build a little showcase around something like this, but no, instead they might they might shadow drop it instead. I guess maybe there's an event that we don't know about.
Now, of course, Jeff could be jumping on the hype himself, having seen already a big splurge of news articles and other leakers getting on the action ahead of him. But I wouldn't say he probably cares that deeply. And he did state there his own sources said it is about to shadow drop. He still didn't commit to any kind of date or what that would really look like or why, other than hypothesizing. And he's kind of right. It doesn't need a big show and dance. This is a well-established game. With Microsoft trying to claw back some money, why bother with a huge marketing scheme for this if you just know there's going to be a bunch of people eagerly waiting for it and would happily pay for it as soon as it drops? Flip side of that is, it could actually be a bit of a mess. Maybe the remake just isn't that great and they don't want to be giving lots of press and people time to do lots of reviews and basically crap on it before it comes out, since this is supposedly being made in another engine or with the help of two engines, Unreal Engine 5, the original creation engine, and it's being made by Virtuous Studios, so not directly a Bethesda studio. There could be some other things that might have potentially a negative kickback, so why not just shadow drop it and not have any kind of instance like they did with the horse armor? Someone maybe watched my video or put 2 and 2 together and asked, do you think we'll see the announcement for Oblivion arrive at the end of the Elder Scrolls event next week? And they, the haters, actually said unlikely. I mean, they are technically different games. If it was an ESO expansion, that's what you would expect to see at the end of a show maybe, or the very beginning. But beyond that, Nate the Hate has strictly been pretty much the same. It's coming out in the second half of April. Someone then asked Detective Seeds whether or not he thinks Oblivion's going to have mod support. And he said it's not going to support mods, at least at the beginning. So this maybe would be surprising, but it might tie in also to my idea that they're not doing this remaster just for the fun of it or just for a one-time purchase. They need to keep on generating money, and my assumption would be that they will start selling some of the content creation mods we've seen for Skyrim and Fallout pretty much in the same way on this new version of Oblivion. They couldn't possibly try this for a game that's literally 20 years old, but they can absolutely do that for a remaster. But the idea that they would maybe stop or not support modding at the very beginning does seem a bit off. The modding scene in Oblivion is actually still pretty decent. There's a whole bunch of mods that have just been uploaded in the last week or so. It's got 1,500 pages on the Nexus site, so that is thousands upon thousands of mods. We know that we saw a lot of the all-time favourite mods actually be ported over to the Anniversary Edition alongside the paid ones, especially for Xbox and PlayStation owners, which was a huge deal. And ultimately, this is what Bethesda are really trying to market these kind of remakes to. On PC, you've probably been able to upgrade, you've already got 120 FPS, whatever it is, your systems can run games the optimal way if you've got the right kind of hardware. You've got easy access to mods to also improve things like the famous mods that have fixed 2,000 bugs in games, etc. PC players are more likely to carry on playing older games because they've been able to upgrade it over the time, don't have to worry about buying remade versions or simply having to get a whole new console to carry on playing their old games. Yes, Xbox backwards compatibility does exist, of course. PlayStation maybe not so much. Certainly not with any kind of Bethesda games from the PS3 era. So my point is, you're not the target audience. The target audience is console players and fairly new PC players. But I would assume it's still a maybe smart idea to make sure you're still supporting free mods as well as introducing the paid. Now we haven't got any confirmation they're going to do paid mods at all, that's just my assumption. But knowing everything they've been doing to get money in games like Fallout 76 with their memberships and more, I just can't see how this won't be something they add to Oblivion in the future. Maybe they're going to see how the actual pretty much result of it will go once it launches. If it does well enough, if it's got record numbers on Game Pass and it can support mod support on consoles, then yes, I think they'll probably do it. We've of course seen mod support for Starfield, so it could just be a matter of time, and mod support will come to Oblivion when it does release, but maybe a few months later down the line. So I think that was worth a news video, I do. Like Jeff Grubb is well known, he's in fact one of the leakers that I knew before any of this started. The news that maybe it won't have mod support at launch is pretty interesting. And the fact that it might not just shadow drop after the ESO event ends right there, but still at some point in that week of the 21st to the 28th. So one of you guys in comments said it was Todd Howard's birthday on the 25th. Maybe they're going to shadow drop it then. And for the really angry viewers here who might still be on this video, still debating that this thing doesn't exist, let's go over some old interviews with Todd Howard that are pretty relevant. Back in 2015, Howard took the stage to reveal Fallout 4. Bethesda showcase lasted 30 minutes of gameplay footage, and that was the first big reveal. Yes, we'd had some leaks from Eurogamer, and they actually got blacklisted. They would not be given any more review code by Bethesda because of it, but that was it. That was the only kind of thing we knew it might exist, and then suddenly it just dropped, and literally a few months later, it came out. So back in 2016, he stated this: "I would like that to become the norm," Howard told IGN at DICE in Las Vegas. "I hope the way that we did with Fallout changes how a lot of people do it. That's my hope. The way it went, I would make it even shorter if I could get away with it," he said. "It would be, this is out right now." So that happened with Fallout Shelter, and they've had relatively short approaches. The distance for Fallout 76 was literally 5 months. But with more context, Starfield obviously was delayed, and we all know how the Elder Scrolls 6 is going. That's probably not going to come out to 2028, maybe even 2029 at this rate. So that's a hell of a long time before announcement and release. So that's where we're at. A third leaker now is confirming the existence of this game, is stating that it's going to be coming out this April. There's a will and a want from the biggest creative director at Bethesda stating that they want to do something like this. We've had Ninja Gaiden shadow drop from Xbox in the last 6 months. This is something they can do with their well-known established franchises, saving them some money and possibly avoiding any kind of negative build-up depending on how these releases go. Agree, disagree, let me know what you think. What do you want me to cover when I do start playing the old version of Oblivion? A straight playthrough, more of a review, do some live streams. That is kickstarting very soon. I'm booting up my Xbox Series X, downloading the Xbox 360 version, and I'm going to play it for the first time in literally like 15, 16 years. Just so I've got lots of comparison shots and gameplay ready for this remaster or remake. Let me know. Anyway, Ratbags, I'll see you later. Bye bye.